The California Highway Patrol attempted to stop the driver of a silver Ford Fusion for speeding on the North Los Angeles Freeway, but it turned into a dangerous pursuit. On the morning of Thursday, August 8, 2018, the pursuit began when the driver sped off during a traffic stop for speeding. According to the California Highway Patrol, officers initially attempted to stop the driver of a silver Ford Fusion for speeding in the Palmdale area.
I got you. Thank you, Francisco. Yeah, I got you, Michelle. Thank you. I got you, Francisco.
The driver failed to stop and continued on Highway 138 near 121st Street in Palmdale, at times reaching speeds in excess of 100 miles per hour.
Yeah, I got you there, Francisco. Have you got me, mate? Thank you, brother. I can hear off air, no worries.
The suspect then traveled to Highway 14 in Newhall, weaving in and out of traffic, at times driving on the shoulder of the freeway at Antelope Valley and Highway 5 and continuing into the San Fernando Valley.
Yeah, g'day, Jan. We're on the southbound 14 freeway here. CHP are pursuing this silver vehicle here. I believe it's a silver Ford. And this pursuit started probably about 20 to 30 minutes ago out in the Palmdale area. They were reaching speeds of up to 120 miles per hour on the streets there, not the freeway, the streets. So currently we have about 3 or 4 CHP units in pursuit, no aerial unit or asset overhead at this stage. So probably the issue trying to bring this to a stop is they've probably just got to keep following this till this driver decides to get off, or that car slows down, or they take an exit. That's about all we can tell at this stage. Obviously dark windows, unsure of how many passengers or people are in the vehicle. Obviously do know there is a driver. The original want, or why they're trying to stop this vehicle, is because speeding. He's obviously speeding right now up to about 102 miles per hour. So he's got the pedal to the metal down there as he heads back down towards the 210 freeway in Los Angeles, Jen.
Perhaps driving in the wrong lanes onto oncoming traffic. What have you seen otherwise? I mean, because these speeds, look, 120 miles per hour right now, but this is on the freeway, still so dangerous.
Yep, I apologise, Sandra, just get a little bit of a break up there. Yeah, he's been driving quite erratically. You know, we saw him there just make a smooth try to transition between the HOV lane. Now he's going into the number 3 lane. That's the way they've been driving the whole time. You're correct. Those streets up there in Palmdale, although they're not that heavily populated, there are lots of people and there are lots of T intersections there. So very dangerous to be speeding through that area. Here we are, he's heading back down, or heading closer to the, I believe it's the 5 freeway is going to approach very soon here. We're going through the Newhall area, still doing pretty big speeds at 103 miles per hour. CHP still behind him. Again, they're originally wanted this guy for speeding, so let's hope that something happens to that vehicle, maybe possibly runs out of fuel. He was going to possibly take the exit there, but has decided against it. So
yeah,
he probably knows, at this stage it looks like he doesn't even know where he's going.
well, the problem when you're driving this fast is there is little to no room for error. And every time he comes close to another car, I'm holding my breath right now, hoping that it doesn't get bad. But look at all the cars that are in front of him. This was wide open for a few minutes, and now all of a sudden it's getting a little bit more congested where he is right now. Justin, do we know how this pursuit began and where?
Yeah, we believe it started up in the Palmdale, Lancaster area. Again, here he is riding on the shoulder on the outside as he's made the transition to the 5 freeway. This is just post-morning drive traffic, and we do believe, we understand, it was really just a speeding want. The unusual to follow the vehicle for this amount of time. CHP are aggressive. If they really want to keep people safe on the road, so they're after this guy for speeding. Could possibly be something more, because the guy has been reaching speeds of up to 115, 120 miles per hour. And as he goes heading into Los Angeles area, I believe around the Granada Hills. Again, you can see that CHP vehicle. It's calling out the shots. You have several vehicles behind that, basically just trailing. And again, at this stage, no airship. And wow, look at that. That guy sliding. He really wants to get somewhere fast.
And at this point, sometimes, you know, CHP, law enforcement officials have to make that call, whether it's worth it to continue this pursuit or back off a little bit. And then usually sometimes suspects slow down and aren't as dangerous. But clearly they're after this guy, whether it's for speeding or something bigger. But again, they have to make that call on whether or not it's to their advantage to pursue this man or this suspect in this silver vehicle or not at this point, because when there is a pursuit, sometimes it's creating a more dangerous situation for everyone.
Yeah, that's correct. It looks like he's actually taking an exit here. This is the Roxford exit into Granada Hills. He's still doing quite 70 miles an hour as he's taking this exit, and he's going to head northbound into Granada Hills under that underpass there. Interesting to see whether he decides to get back onto the 14. He's actually popping through here, and he's actually heading eastbound, I believe.
Wow. Okay, it was interesting to
wow,
see him
still going incredibly fast on those side streets.
So
the driver was passing large vehicles and equipment on the right side of the freeway as the vehicle exited the streets of Sylmar. At approximately 9:22 a.m., the suspect arrived on Interstate 5 near the Granada Hills area and continued driving at speeds of 120 miles per hour. At least 3 California Highway Patrol units were tracking the suspects.
Anticipating they're going to do a runner here. They're obviously looking for a spot to possibly get out and run.
Yeah, you can see there is some front-end damage to the car. We also heard reports that possibly somebody inside of the car was throwing things out of the car at one point earlier on.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It's quite a thing that they do. People who are wanted do try to get rid of evidence. That's why the CHP or other law officer units, agencies try to follow. Here we are, they're getting out, doing a runner, they're jumping out. There's the passenger and there's the driver.
Shortly before 9:30 a.m., the driver stopped in a residential area near El Cajon Boulevard and El Dorado Boulevard in Sylmar. 3 suspects abandoned the vehicle and ran in opposite directions. One of the suspects, while jumping fences and backyards, encountered a large pack of dogs that apparently scared the man, so he headed to another backyard.
Do we know, are there authorities in the immediate area? Because I don't really see any from our shot.
There is a CHP airship that's over the top.
Okay.
And we got one of the guys running here. I believe that looked like that was the passenger. We'll just stick with him, at least we know. And he's running up in the street there, trying to find a place to hide. At this stage, no ground units, but there is an aerial unit above directing them in. You can see the shadow of the aerial unit there. We'll just stick with this guy because he seems the most obvious one that we may keep an eye on and see what happens to him.
So this is the passenger that exited the vehicle
he climbed a fence.
The front passenger, right? I believe there was also a passenger in the back seat as well. So I don't know where that passenger took off to, but also the driver running a different direction. Oh, here we go.
Oh, wow, he's scaling fences and going on people's property at this point, trying to get away from authorities.
Yeah, you got to imagine it's quite dangerous running through people's backyards. You know, people have dogs and are also armed. So, you know, this gentleman probably trying to find somewhere safe to hide himself just for that as well, to avoid any homeowners. He's obviously under the trees there. I'll just go a little wider to see whether we see any CHP or law enforcement units there. Nothing at this stage. But we do know, as I said, the aerial units are here. Jeffrey, did one orbit, mate?
And you really feel for the neighborhood, the residents there having no idea what's happening, and people in their backyards and on their properties, and the danger that exists right there. You see
there's dogs over here.
Now barking at the suspect who's hiding under the tree. And you have to also assume that perhaps these suspects do know this area as well, and that is why they pulled over. But what streets are we talking?
Jumped out of a vehicle after a pursuit that started in Lancaster. A good 30 to 40 miles this pursuit traveled for. It speeds up to 120 miles per hour. Came an end to out here at the El Dorado and El Cajon streets in Selma. One suspect we saw jumped the backyard and a couple of fences into these backyards here. And we saw some dogs. You can see one dog there. These little dogs were all barking. So gave us evidence that the gentleman who had run from that vehicle was taking refuge. They're going in to get him, opening the white fence. Yeah, I mean, poor people, hope they don't break the fence. Yeah, this is a second correction there, Michelle. There's actually 3 people got out of the vehicle. Okay. Great, thank you. Scott Fox, TSC News Radio. Hey, Francis, got any chance of making sure the IP is good, mate? Thank you. Yeah, that's correct. That's the one I wanted to show you just before we did that last hit, unfortunately.
As of 10 a.m., authorities had arrested 2 suspects. A search for one of the 3 fleeing suspects was underway in the Sylmar neighborhood, leading authorities to capture the driver who led authorities on a police chase from Palmdale to Sylmar on Thursday. The search for at least one other suspect continued.
Still looking for that other one, right, Jeffrey? He often points things out to me as a law enforcement novice, just to keep an eye out and just make sure that you articulate the correct terminology and able to explain precisely the role the police are doing here in their step-by-step moves to try and bring this person into custody. One advantage, obviously, the suspect possibly has here is time. It's been quite a time since that the search party here has made their way to that backyard, which has given him the opportunity to possibly jump a fence, find a better hiding spot. So officers, you know, they're treating this as a deadly serious operation, actually as it is in its words. You can see they've got their guns out there ready to use deadly force if this suspect brandishes some type of weapon towards them. Fingers crossed this gentleman will hear the barking dog eventually and decide it's a good time to give up. His long gun there, as well as their pistols directed towards the boat. This is like some sort of looks like a 30 to 35 foot motor cruiser under the tree there, potentially hiding. The gentleman could be hiding in there. You can see the dog occasionally come through a screen under the tree. He's looking around. Certainly they've warned the suspect that the dog is there. So, and you can see the dog there having a bit of a sniff, looking around to see if it sees anything or picks up any scent that possibly could direct the officers to this gentleman who they believe is still hiding in this backyard. It looks like the officer's going to take another direction here. They still, I imagine they still feel pretty good that the suspect is in this backyard. The airship never saw them leave. The boat, it's a very good hiding spot. I recall back to the Boston Marathon bombing, if you remember that tragic event. They found that bomber, the younger brother. He was actually hiding in a vessel very similar. So it's not unusual to see somebody take refuge and hide in a boat. I suppose there's potential too, Jeffrey, that the gentleman in the back could be the bad guy, right? Like, yeah. You know, it's the guys in the back that did the job, and this is the driver guy driving. So we've got KCAL coming up, brother. Do you want to? We've got KCAL at top of the hour. Yeah, just I guess just come around more because, yeah. I'll talk you in as we come around. I'm sure. Yeah, this is okay. Thanks, mate.